Okay. So, where do you get good Cuban cigars around here? I heard a rumor. My husband gave me a list, and I'm not allowed back in my country without them. Of course, I have to smuggle them in. That's real smart, isn't it? We bomb small countries, but we can't bring Cuban cigars back in. Okay. Anyway, on that note, it is great to be here. I got to tell you, I'm spending a little time this time. I feel like I'm doing a stand-up comedy routine. So anyway, I'm gonna spend some time here, which is great. I've only been up here one other time to Toronto. Actually, I've been to Vancouver a few times filming, and I made a Canadian film a few years ago called Max, and we were filming in BC, outside of Kamloops, actually. Beautiful, beautiful countryside. So it's great to come up to Toronto again, because I didn't have a chance to look around and explore a little bit, and you have so many great things to do here. So I've got my 5-year-old in tow, and
Go to Wonderland.
Go to Wonderland.
There, it's a great place, and nobody goes anymore because it's down.
What is with the world? I mean, it's great for me because I can get in everywhere, but I mean...
They've got a new Nickelodeon's place with, like,
really?
Dora the Explorer has a ride, and the Wild Thornberrys and Jimmy Neutrons.
Oh my God, this is a 5-year-old's wet dream. How do I get there? Do I
Highway 401, you go for 400, right? Someone might drive up there.
do I need need a car though? I mean, do they have, like, they don't have a shuttle from my hotel, Wonderland? Hi,
They might.
Wonderland. What drug is this woman on?
I got a free ticket if you want to go.
A free ticket to Wonderland?
Yes, I do. I got it
Honey,
right now.
talk to me. Free? Did anyone say free? I walked into that one. Great. Only if you rub my shoulders again. This man has been touching me all afternoon. It's okay. Not in that way. Touching my heart.
It's the Portuguese Festival tomorrow, and Sean Desmond is singing. So. Anybody else like Sean Desmond?
Who is Sean Desmond? Canadian pop singer. Okay. Okay. Good?
No, but...
No. When does that matter? Oh, that's why he's free. Okay. But, you know, I'm going to be here tomorrow. So, Sean, sorry. No, I'm gonna go this week. So wait, we're talking. Okay, you guys probably want to know what. Okay, well, what else should I do while I'm here? I'm gonna go to the X.
Yeah, that's good.
And Centerville.
Wednesday?
Oh, Centerville is great.
Centerville Island, right? Take the ferry and hop over to Centerville.
You guys go to medieval.
Medieval
times.
Medieval time.
They have that in LA.
Castle Longer. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Okay. Knights and Castles and Dragons. Okay, a real castle, right. Sir Henry something. Helen, right. I heard about this. Okay, so and the Cuban cigar thing, anybody have recommendations?
It's a great place, Young and Steele.
Where?
Young and Steele.
Yeah, and steel.
It's halfway from here to Canada's Wonderland.
Okay.
I think it's called Cigars for You. Something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Cigars for you, where they have a big flashing neon sign, am I right? Cigars for you. That's good. I like this country. Okay.
There's also one in Yorkville. Near Young and Bloor, it's called the Thomas Pines Baptist or something.
Okay.
Go there.
Okay, that's closer. Okay. Okay. My darn husband, you know, he's got this habit, filthy, stinky habit. Once in a while, he does like a good Cuban cigar. And they're illegal in our country. I'm so stupid. So I'm going to smuggle it in. You should see me going through customs. Oh, how am I going to smile? Rather personal question. Well, how do you think I'm going to smile? I line my jacket with cigars. That's how my husband does it. I walk about 50 feet ahead of him, like I don't know you. My great fear is we're going to be busted, coming in with cigars. God, that would be just, for all the things I could have been busted for. Cigars are not what I should be busted for. There's children. Hey, you guys. Okay, we're going to change the topic. So, I just finished the sequel to Trekkies, Trekkies 2. Thank you so much. I was really planning and hoping to get here and have the crew be filming. But we finished the movie before this took place. What? The third one, Trekkies Canada. It has been incredible. We started in May, and we went to 7 countries. We started in Germany, France, England, Italy, Serbia, Australia, and Brazil.
Wow.
And I've lived to tell the tale. On paper, that looked unbelievable to go to that many places in this short of time. But we did it, and we made it, and so we're editing as we speak. So sometime, hopefully next summer, by next summer, we should have it available. I'm not sure what Paramount plans, if they're going to release it theatrically or premiere it on a cable. I'm hoping they do that and not release it theatrically, actually, because documentaries theatrically are really a hard sell, and we did the first one that way, so we don't really need to do this one. Or straight to DVD. So either way, it's fine. But we had a great time, and you have brothers and sisters everywhere, all over the world, as you very well know. And I was especially touched by Serbia, I must tell you. The people are incredibly kind-hearted and generous, and they were so moved by the fact that anyone from Star Trek would ever come to them and visit them. And only one gentleman had a uniform he had made by hand, and he had sketched incredible plans for starships and blueprints. He's an architectural student, so his sketches were first class and beautiful, and he had been trying repeatedly to send them to Herman Zimmerman at Paramount in hopes of maybe getting some kind of, lackey job, doing something for the show. So they were always sent back to him, all the way back to Serbia. And remember, postage from Serbia for this gentleman to send a big manila package weighing quite a few pounds was very costly to him, yet they have no money there. And so I took it with me from Serbia, and I hand-delivered it to Paramount. So I'm hoping that, I can't imagine if by luck, by chance, by whatever, some way this gentleman can get even a letter back from Herman Zimmerman would be really nice. The people were just gracious and grateful and had endured, and really Star Trek was a sort of kind of a goal, a dream that they held on to while bombs were dropped on them by NATO and they were sitting in bomb shelters. They kind of thought, by some chance in some future, this will exist, and we won't, and this, what we're going through, won't. And that was the dream that they held on to. So when we went to visit them, they explained this to me. How come, why would Star Trek play such an important part of their life? And this is what they shared with us. So it was deeply, deeply moving, and a great place to visit. And everybody, fans are like that everywhere, which I've come back from making 2 documentaries now, realizing I love to come and see you guys, I love to touch base with you, I love to share your stories and hear what hear about you. I'm more interested in you than, my same old story. I know my story, okay? But it's you guys that make it all worthwhile. So, on that note, before I get all teary-eyed, you guys have questions? Yeah.
You told us some of the differences between Trekkies 1 and Trekkie 2. Tell us more.
Great, okay. Trekkies, the first time we set out to do Trekkies, we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, simply said, we decided that we would get enough film to shoot a weekend in LA, which is where we all live, so it was easy. We didn't have travel expense. And it happened to be a charity event, a convention that's held annually to benefit the Motion Picture Fund, the Actors Home, I think it's called, or whatever it's, where I eventually will be living, of course. And so I said, okay, this is good. Well, by chance, almost the entire classic classic Trek actors were appearing at this. So, for the fact that I was an actor in Star Trek, I could approach them, I knew them, and they were gracious enough to sit down with me. So we had so much good footage this first 3-day convention we went to. We just said, we've got to keep going. And we just began to solicit stories from fans, from people we would go to. I would be invited to go to a convention, and I would bring the crew with me. I would take my money, my first class ticket, and I would cash it in and buy enough tickets for the rest of the crew. And we would go and we would film. And we would just sort of go with our instincts. People would invite us over, they'd show us their collection, they'd tell us, what made them come to this, how many conventions do they attend, and we started to put it together. And it started to take a shape, all on its own. So for the second one, which we didn't realize we would intend to make, I mean, we didn't set out to make a sequel, I just realized that this is an international fandom. This is not just in America. So we need to go now to other parts of the world, and what is going on in other parts of the world? Where are there fans? Where are there really serious fans? And we started to kind of network and go through the internet, and got feedback, and people started communicating, and so we sort of, with a budget we had, we mapped out where to go. And so the intention was really to kind of show a global picture of fandom in this one. And we revisit some of our original profilees of Trekkies. We went back to the Barbara Adams in Little Rock, Arkansas. For those of you who know Trekkies, she was the commander at Sir Speedy Printing, and she is still at Sir Speedy. They love her there. They've changed ownerships, but Barbara is still there. They still love her to wear her communicator and rank pip and phaser. And people now come to Sir Speedy Printing in Little Rock, Arkansas just to meet Barbara. So she was telling us that, and she's really, she really tries to practice what she preaches, and that's what her whole thing is, why she wears this, because she feels like she represents this ideal. And Gabriel, our young 14-year-old boy, who is now, I think he's 20, is married to a woman. And a beautiful girl. He has since appeared on Drew Carey. Drew Carey, I did a guest spot on Drew Carey, and all Drew wanted to talk about was Trekkies. He knew all the lines, he knew all the people. I said, you've got to be kidding me. And then he called me up and asked how he could reach Gabriel, because he wanted Gabriel to do an episode. And I said, oh my God, I will call Gabriel and tell him that you'll be calling. So I phoned Gabriel and said, Gabriel, you're not going to believe this. Drew Carey wants you for his TV show. He wants you to be in it. And Gabriel just said, well, that's a very nice idea. I think I could do that. Of course, I'll have to join SAG, but that could be a nice possibility for me in the future. And you know, Gabriel is just incredible. And you know, he got on Drew Carey, and he did 2 episodes, by the way. I did 1. Of course, he's great in the follow-up. His dad is still building, you know, rocket launchers or whatever the heck he does. You know, the next space shuttle out of his station wagon, and they're still, you know, as cute as can be. So they're, and the dentist, Dr. Dennis Bourguignon, we didn't visit again because nothing has really changed all that much except he is divorced, which we kind of knew that was coming. If you really look at the movie, that woman drove me to the airport for my plane, and I can tell you, that's not a surprise. But anyway, we didn't visit him. I'm trying to think. The Greensteins, I think we revisited. They were going to, he wanted to have his ears surgically you know, altered. And you can do that, maybe. I don't know. If you can do Michael Jackson, you can do that, okay?
There was a show on TLC a couple days ago, and in the States it's illegal to change the human form away from the human form.
Tell that to the surgeons who perform Michael Jackson's plastic surgery. Exactly. I think with enough greenback, probably some goofball will do it, but let's hope not. Like I try to, you know, steer him clear of that idea. You know, you never know. You might be into something else a few years from now, and then you've got pointy ears.
Thank you.
Right?
Great answer.
Okay. That was a long-winded answer. Yes?
Did you go back to visit the boy who had the cat Bones?
Bones, we sure did. Well, of course, Bones. They had, and now there's Bones the Third or something now going on. Yes, Daryl Frazzetti is just doing his thing. He's still got the cats. He's got the 2 cats, and one is still wearing the McCoy costume and traveling around. And Daryl is teaching now. At teaching like I don't know, anthropology. I mean, he's so smart. It's just amazing. He's into, you know, the whole bones and I mean real bones and digging and finding things and geodes and all kinds of stuff. He gave my little boy little like rock books and fossil books and, you know, brain books and oh God, Daryl. Okay. So yes, we did visit Daryl. I got some more interviews with Bones the 29th. Yes.
Just to change the subject a little, I was a big fan of your show Key West, and I was wondering why it didn't make it beyond 1 season.
Oh, you are so sweet. Key West, my goodness. I loved doing Key West. I think, yes, wow. I'll tell you two reasons. In the middle of our first order of 13, the head of Fox Television left and became the president of their film production of Fox. So they brought in a new head of production. And sort of historically, when a new person comes in, they usually like to wipe the slate clean with anything the other guy developed. They have their own agenda, their own ideas, unless it's doing so incredible, it's number 1 with a bullet, they won't back it up. So we had a new guy that was sort of head of production suddenly, who didn't really get the show, and just what he did was he premiered the pilot opposite Clinton's inaugural ball. I remember this. It was Barbara Streisand was singing on television for the first time in 100 years. And then on Fox, the news show, Key West, you know, and it was just disastrous. So that was primarily the reason. And but it was you know, we were disheartened by it. You know, we loved doing it, and it would have. I think it was a very unique, quirky show. Given a chance, it would have kicked butt. But thank you for being one of the 5 people that watched it that night. Yes?
Oh, I was going to say, I also was a big fan of the Key West series, so make that 6 people.
This is a Key West convention.
I want to mention is they showed in some of the episodes out of order, though. You had a relationship with the drug runner guy, had the autistic child like that. They actually showed it out of a sequence where it was like bitter enemies, and they were sort of getting, you know, relationship.
Right.
And then they
Got it.
jumped backwards in the storyline and showed an episode, you guys are bitter enemies, you're swearing to destroy it.
See what I mean? I mean, it's like they've sabotaged it.
Right. So I want to mention that in case you weren't aware that it happened in the sewing episode.
Darn Fox TV. Do you have a question?
Well, a comment. I just wanted to thank you for signing my mushrooms.
That was you! I've never signed mushrooms before, but I have now. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you. This young lady's, your mother did photos, like food,
She did food advertising.
food advertising, so she came with a photo of mushrooms. And that's not the weird part. The weird part is I signed it, okay?
Last year, I was going to get John Billingsley to do it.
Oh, he would, absolutely.
Yeah, but then I saw the cool flocks photo, so I got me some.
Oh, you should have gone with the mushrooms. John, he would have done. You got to get another. Next time, John, he's funny.
Or maybe like meat or something. Asparagus. I could have wanted
Meat? Don't get meat, okay? I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Asparagus would be good. Yes.
Hi, how did you get the part of Tasha Yar originally on TNT?
So the original story, what happened was I originally read for the part of Deanna Troi. That was how it was originally planned. Gene, his original idea for Troy was much more along the lines of me, very tall, blonde, Nordic, kind of like you know, they're going for that sort of Scandinavian ice princess sort of thing. And glasses?
Classy.
Oh, classy. Oh, I don't know about that. I read a few times as Troy, and finally when it got down to, and Marina was reading subsequently for Tasha. So when it finally came to reading for Gene Roddenberry, along with the other producers, Gene liked me as an actor and Marina as an actor, but didn't see us for those parts, and so switched it. And that's how it happened. Yes? Which is my favorite episode? Oh, well, you know, the very early ones are special to me just because, you know, we were so new. I mean, none of us knew what we were doing. I mean, if you look at like the early episodes, like the pilot encounter at Farpoint and stuff like that, you'll see me like pushing, working that thing, and until finally Michael Okuda, the designer, came over to me and said, I think by then you'll only have to push one button. Oh, okay. I said, wait, what do all these buttons do, Michael? He said, well, they launch photon torpedoes and things, so don't push them all the time. Oh, okay, and what is a photon torpedo? It was like, that's how it was. So and you'll see us like pushing our communicator to speak, you know, like, Captain, Captain, and it's just, Captain, you know, we're like talking into it. No, you don't have to talk into it. I mean, this was, we'd pick up our phasers and we would like that and say, no, you don't have to don't go and I mean, it was just really, the Ferengi were sent, you know, invented to become our arch enemy. That was the intention. You know, they would come up, exactly. Jonathan and I would hold our nose in laughter, and you know, you guys look like big butts. Right? And we can't take you seriously. Ooh, we're scared of the big butts. Run for your life, you know. And it was just hysterical. We didn't know anything that we were doing. The suits, we couldn't we're like, you know, God, I have to go to the bathroom, can someone unzip me? I mean, it was just, oh, we had these dinky little trailers. So the whole first year, and you'll talk to the other guys, you know, because it was never the same after the first year. Things changed very much in many ways. The first season we always had, when we got a new script, we had a lunch meeting. And we would go page by page while they ordered sandwiches and whatever for us. And Gene was there, the producers, the director of that episode, all the cast. And if we had any questions, if we had any notion about a line that didn't seem to work for us, they would say, anything on page 1? Good. Anything on page 2? Yeah. I have, I don't understand. What is a, you know, warp speed 3, or you know, whatever, and they would explain it to us, or we would say, well, I don't think Tasha would do that. I mean, she might say this, but she wouldn't do that. And we would have these kind of creative, you know, sort of melting pots. Never happened again after the first season, which they told us, that, you know, we'll always do this, we'll always do this. So, you know, it's a great, the whole first season is a very special thing, because it's you're brand spanking new. You come with no pretense. You're happy to be working. It's a bonding experience with the rest of the cast, and you're figuring it all out as you go. You're making it up as you go. You're creating these characters on your own. To answer your question, though. I'm getting senile, I think. Yesterday's Enterprise, for sure, is my, you know, thank you. It's just a very well-crafted, well-written piece of, you know, episodic science fiction. It's just great. It blew my mind when they called me up out of the blue and said, you know, we have an idea that you'll come back. What? I'm dead. Yeah, but there's a thing in time, and you're not dead. You know, you go back to the past and you're alive. What? You can do that? Of course we can do that, you idiot. It's science fiction. You know? Oh yeah. So that it was really great. So I was so pleased. It was just solid writing. It wasn't a hokey, because I wouldn't have done it had it been just some, you know, Dallas dream shower sequence. Although I like Dallas. I mean, no offense to Dallas. You know, my aunt killed JR, so I have no offense. Yes?
What was it like to try and wrap your mind around the character of Sela, having played, you know, Sela's mother sort of thing?
Mother, your daughter, your mother. It was really challenging. It was very interesting, because I didn't want to be Tasha with a wig, you know? So I had to sort of get into this idea of who, you know, this a whole different character. And it was really of I just went with the strength of the command, you know, that she was really kind of militaristic and really focused on what her mission was. Eventually, though, I was hoping to really come full circle with this character and have her somehow begin to embrace the human part of her that she had so denied and so refused to accept, and get to know her mother, get to know her mother's crew, what they were about, and she would really have to face that and have to go through that. And then what do you do with that? You know, how does that affect her? And I thought maybe she would eventually be the bridge to peace with the Romulans. I mean, that was how I had pitched the idea of Sela to the producer. That was my idea, and it kind of stemmed from Yesterday's Enterprise, because suddenly Tasha was alive again, and my original idea was that Tasha and Lieutenant Castillo from Yesterday's Enterprise had a child. That Tasha, when she went back to join the Enterprise C and fight in that battle, she was pregnant with Lieutenant Castillo's child, and that when she was captured, she was barely alive, and the Romulans decided to spare her because they knew she was pregnant with a child, and they wanted to raise a human child to use as like a like bait, basically, to lure the Enterprise, the Federation in, and so this was my original story. And Rick Berman, I had lunch with Rick Berman and told him this idea, and he went away. He said, "It's interesting. Let me think about it." And I thought, well, that's the last of that. He's not going to go. And a couple months later, he called me and said, "We're going to go with it. We're going to go with your idea." But instead of Lieutenant Castillo, Tasha was captured by a Romulan general and impregnated because we just don't know how Tasha and Lieutenant Castillo could have gotten together. And I said, well, I don't know about you, Rick, but a couple minutes. And they didn't go with it, so I just was trying to get out of wearing the little, I thought I was going to go through my career in Star Trek without wearing any ears. But I didn't, and he knew it, and Rick said, guess what? I got some little ears for you. Yes?
I hear so many things about Gene Roddenberry. Can you give us some of your personal recollections?
Wow. Well, Gene was such like a big teddy bear of a man, so kind and really devoted to his show, and really the integrity of what it was about, and really trying to make it unique, and he respected us, he respected our opinions. Anytime we needed to go to him and ask a question, he was always available. I never, it was never a feeling of, you guys are just go do your, just get back to the set and do your job. It was, he really, we were in it together, and he had waited a long time to make a new series. And he was very, very excited about it all. And that first year, I'm really grateful that I got to experience the whole Star Trek with him being present. I mean, it's very different without him, I think. He was the one who, when I wanted to leave the show, I was really grappling with that. It wasn't a knee-jerk decision I made. I spent months talking to my fellow cast members, to the producers and writers. Where is this going? What am I doing? Where is this going to? I mean, so many episodes were going by where I was just simply working 15-hour days, and I was standing on the bridge, and I didn't say anything. I literally had to stand there. I actually asked the producers to make up like fake legs and just stick them up there on the horseshoe. And I could just go home and just keep the camera low on Patrick, because that's all you're doing anyway. and just put my legs there. Nobody will know. I don't say anything, so just do that. And, you know, they wouldn't do it, of course. But Jean was the one who, when I really had decided that I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go now and keep on my creative path. He got it. He sat me down in his office and he said, look, I was your age one time, and I had big dreams, and I had a lot of energy, and I was hungry, and I didn't want to settle. I wasn't ready to settle. I wasn't ready to just put that aside. And he goes, I get it. I know what you're doing, and you have my blessing. You know, nobody wanted me to go, but he knew why I was going. It was not out of dislike for the show, out of disrespect for him or the other actors or anything like that. It was just, you know, I didn't want to just say, Hailing Frequency's open, sir, you know, for 7 years. Yes. Oh, you. Let me get her first. Yes. That's a good question. She was asking what it was like growing up as a Crosby kid. I think it was very conflicting, to be honest. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't like Richie Rich in the comics and chauffeured around and, you know, thank God. I came from a really, my father is one of Bing's sons, and I grew up with my mother. And my mother was a very hardworking, terrific woman who I think gave me a really real sense of values. And it was the Crosby side of my family that weren't the greatest, you know. And my grandfather's public persona was very different from his personal persona. And so there was great conflict in that. People would, as a child, naturally growing up, they would say, oh my God, do you have Christmases that are like, you know, out of this world, and you must have a lot of Minute Maid orange juice laying around. You know, what's it like? Does your grandfather sing White Christmas to you every day? And, you know, it was like, no, not at all. And so then you go home and you go, you know, Mom, should I have a bunch of Minute Maid orange juice in the fridge? And, you know, why isn't that happening? So it's very conflicting, actually. And you have to sort of, as you're, you know, I think each one of us obviously have our paths, you know, and our things that were out of our control, which is who you're born to and you're growing up. And you have to carve that out for yourself. You know, you have to like work on that and do the work for yourself so you can survive it no matter what it is, you know? And I think that fortunately my mom was just so, you guys, I'm gonna do two more, okay? You, because I cut you off.
Since Gene Roddenberry has passed, what's your opinion on how the Star Trek franchise is?
That's an interesting $1 million question. Since he was asking since Gene has passed on, how do I think of the franchise and how it's moving on? I think there have been just great stories told and wonderful things done. I think that Gene would be proud of. I think at the same time, though, you know, it falls under the banner of a kind of a, you know, a commercial commodity, and things get kind of diluted that way, you know. So I've been going around the world asking that very question, you know, and it seems to be that people are kind of disappointed with the way things are turning out and hope that it doesn't end up diminishing the role that Star Trek has played in terms of, you know, how significant a television show has been. You know, that it doesn't end up just being a kind of footnote in television history because it's, you know, one after the next and one after the, you know, but that it really, I think you can't do that to it, but I do think that you don't want to just churn it out without, you know, without it being resonating and being the brilliance that it is. So if that takes stepping away, finishing it off, ending it for a while, or what? I mean, I guess they're doing some stuff that's just not kosher with timelines and all kinds of stuff, and you know, fans are not going to accept that. That's just not done. You know, and people know, you guys know. I mean, it's not like, oh well, let's put the Borg in, and maybe everyone want the Borg in the Enterprise. How can you do that? So I don't know. We'll see. I hope, though, I'm going to try to apprentice this year so that I can direct next Enterprise. That's my plan. Let's see if I can do it. Now, you had a question, then
You answered my question.
I did.
About the
Two.
franchises, yeah.
2 and 1. All right. Now, okay, Ray. No, you cannot massage me right now.
What I wanted to find out is the ship's not get it back. Then when they slip into work, nothing moves.
Don't ask me questions like that. You have to, that's a question for Michael Okuda. I just did whatever he taught. I pushed the buttons, I wiggled my butt, and you know, that was it.
It was fine, but we were into it.
There goes that spandex. You guys have been amazing. I love coming here. This has been a great fun for me. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. And I'm going to sign, if anybody else needs an autograph or anything for the next hour or so, and I'll see you tomorrow. If not,